The playbook approach is really, really different as you write about it. I always tell people nobody cares about your products except for you. What they care about are themselves. What is a playbook approach for those who maybe aren't familiar with it? And then how is it different than a product approach? And maybe if somebody isn't using a playbook approach, what would be, outside, of course, of buying your book and studying it, what would be a way for them to get started with a playbook approach?
Yeah, no, great questions. And I think of, Mainstay. It used to be called AdmitHub. Now it's called Mainstay. Is a company we've worked with for a number of years. And I think of Kirk Delario there, who is one of the co-founders, and he came from the admissions world. He was, with the College Board and with a number of admissions offices. And I remember him saying, working with you, what the really switch was, I wanted to change the world, but I couldn't change the world until I stopped talking about my product.
Right.
Because my customers didn't care how they got better yield or how they got more first gen students engaged. That's what they cared about. If I had a way to do that, great. But first they wanted to know that I knew this was about getting more first gen students to college, and that we had a way of personalizing that engagement. And for first gen students, making it more private, honestly, because a lot of them don't feel comfortable sharing what they don't know about college. So it's that shift from not my product, as you say, but what value does my product drive for customers? So that's it. You got to have a value playbook. And then the reality is, as we know, the go-to-market journey goes across the website, content, prospecting, sales, and deal velocity, closing and expansion, customer success and renewals. There are more than 24 plays in the revenue acceleration playbook. You cannot digest all of that by any means. So you got to figure out which are the one or two revenue outcomes that I care about the most, and then start to think about writing, if it's deal velocity, writing down, how do I do good early discovery to really get to a buyer success statement? How do I end every call with, we just did a blog post on the last 10 minutes, using that to qualify. So a playbook approach is then every phase of the buyer and customer journey, how do I structure that interaction to make sure I'm anchoring and re-anchoring on what the buyer values the most?